Hello, darlings. This video is primarily for my daughters. I have a story to share. It's mostly for my daughters. It's something that a dad did last night and was complacent to. And my daughters are 9 and 12. And I'd say especially dads, in my belief, when I make a mistake, I think it's really important that I share it with my daughters so they can learn from it and reflect on it and say, I think I have something of value for you because it happens that easy, it happens that quick. Life has on the road of life, there is many obstacles and surprises, we can say that. And as your dad, I'm leading you, I'm ahead of you by about 30 years. And so as I blaze a trail, I'm leaving moments and cautions for you that won't necessarily make sense when you're 9 and 12 years old and partying and celebrating and shopping and just being Canadian kids in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So what happened yesterday? I was complacent. I mentioned that. I was working. We were working. Chainsaws, bucket truck, tree work, very dangerous work in the sense that there is some significant hazards. This is an industrial setting. We've got 8 chainsaws. We've got a picker truck that lifts 60 feet plus the height of the truck up in the air. These are some significant hazards. We're at the beach. So my first caution is to beware of beach culture, because it certainly surprised me. And we're working with chainsaws in the heat. Wonderful woman. She was hosting, and it's like, this is beach life, which I'm not familiar with. And chatting, and she orders us pizza, and she says, hey, yeah, you guys I don't know what you do for lunch, but it's a hot day and beach culture. It's a hot day. Would you guys, could I buy you a pizza and some beers for, while you're working, and give you a lunch break? Great, sure, says the boss. This didn't come to me. I'm looking forward to the pizza when I heard. I started my first, but I didn't say anything when I heard about the beers. I already made my plan for myself. I'm going to ask for juice, but I didn't speak up. And not a good idea. We're working. That's a no. Thank you, right? Still learning. Want to be polite, diplomatic, and all that. So yeah, sure enough, we have the pizzas, and over time I watch the person above me in the company that I take direction from accepts a drink, an alcoholic beverage. For me, it's like, I'll take a Coke or a juice if you have, please. I have a Pepsi. It's a little one. You can have 2 if you want, because it's small. Okay, thanks. And we keep having this conversation with the owner, the host, this lady, and say, okay, well, time to get back to work. And we've both finished our drinks. And again, I don't say, I'm a little uncomfortable about this. Let's have a conversation. Please, let's not do that again. Like, driving, I'm now driving, you're now in the passenger. I didn't do any of that. I didn't have any of that. And as we're parting ways, the owner, the property owner says, but I'm gonna have a nap and just not feeling great myself. But when you guys leave, as we talked about, yeah, do all your finishing up cleanup work. But hey, there's the fridge. Grab one for the road. Help yourselves. I'd heard that term in the 80s and the 90s. Have one for the road, which means I have a beer as a, have one for the road. It means like, oh, just one more, for the road. And drinking and driving culture, it really shocked me to hear that. And the sincerity, like, they were serious. It wasn't just a, and sure enough, he did. He grabbed one for the road. It's okay. So now he's had one. Then he grabbed one for the road, finishes it. As he's driving, going to do the rest of our work, but he'd grabbed another one. Later on in the day, he had a third one. Open and cracked, had a third one. We drop off the firewood for people. And again, this is beach culture. Everyone's just casual and just having a great time. And, oh, those are my grandkids over there. Just very unfamiliar to me, this beach culture. So I'm silent. Everyone's happy. Thanks for the firewood. Okay, cool. Chatty. Hey, you guys have been working hard. You guys want to, pop, water, beer, have one for the road? Again, I stay silent. But my supervisor will say, oh, yeah, sure. Like, oh, kind of ears perk up. Like, did someone say beer? So they give us a plastic bag. And in it is 2 water bottles, 2 Coca-Cola cans, and 2 Great Western cans of beer. Okay, nothing's opened. And, we have the water and need the Coke, no big deal. As we're all done, end of the day, it's just before 9 o'clock in the evening, so the sun is going down, it's getting dark. He's driving, so my supervisor's driving, and we have 2 beers in the car. Totally legal, we're not breaking any rules right now, except for the fact that he's had a couple drinks throughout the day, but he's still under the limit, right? So no big deal. But then he says to me, hey, like, no big deal if you say no, but like, hey, like, you want to pass me one of those. I can't remember the term. He used a casual term, and again, subtle. I'm sharing this with you, ladies, because it's important to know just some of the red flags and the language people can use to hide or bury or lessen the seriousness, or add a piece of casualness to doing something that maybe is not a good idea, and totally no maybe about it. Passing one of those pops, he might have even said, but like, knowing that I'd already offered him my second Coca-Cola and it's sitting right in his cup holder unopened, and so body language, everything's indicating he wants one of those beers. So I reach down and grab it. I know what to do. I'm the passenger. I'm about to crack it for him. And I go, you sure this is a good idea? I mentioned these 2 small towns in the area. It's like, there might be like a stop check. Just, my spider senses are tingling. I'm trying to find a way to politely, diplomatically offer that, oh, wait, because I'm also familiar with this person. Like, I'm scared. What's going to happen? They already have a few drinks. If I start to try to take their alcohol away from them and get between them and their alcohol and their driving, Like, I do not want high emotions in this situation, and I've already waited too long to not. I've already waited too long to do something I should have said before. Hey, I'm driving, no hard feelings. I'm driving. If it's a no, again, no hard feelings, and just start walking away. I didn't do that. This has never happened to me before. And now if it does for you, you have Dad's candid experience of, whoa, it happens that easy. All of a sudden someone's drinking and driving, and you just cracked their fourth drink in a couple hours, right? And then we do get stopped by roadside, and it was neat because it was a double setup. The RCMP were screening first. Hey, you boys been any drinks tonight, gentlemen? No, he says. And as an afterthought, the RCMP constables, in cannabis? In cannabis? No. Okay. So waved on to keep rolling through this rural stop check. But we are not driving a regular vehicle. We are driving a bigger vehicle with air brakes, and it's a commercial vehicle. So now we're dealing with the, what do you call it, highway patrol, traffic safety type people. And he's like, okay, when he starts doing the check, blinkers, and okay, we're going to pump the brakes, blade drain down the air reservoir, see if the low air alarm comes on. Okay, how long does it take and start doing these commercial vehicle tests to see if this vehicle's safe. The short version is no, it was not safe. And of course, me and the other guy, we knew these things. We knew. I told him before, the signals are, hey, like on the trailer, like sometimes the signals, and I'm trying to provide this feedback, and we were shut down. His girlfriend comes pick him up. We need to transfer all the saws into their vehicle. And I said, I'm good. I didn't want to walk home. I told him early on, it's like, hey, by the way, like, you're not paying me anymore right now. Like, I'm in this with you. He's like, you don't have to be here for this. Like, no, like, we're in this. And I wrote him a letter, and I explained to him later that hopefully what I meant, like, I helped get you into this. I'm not going to abandon you now and say, well, problem's yours. I'm scot-free. No, I stayed with them, and I told them, like, you're not paying me anymore. I'm off the clock, but we're getting through this together. And then I told him just before his girlfriend showed up, I said, just to let you know, like, I didn't want to be the suspicious guy, sleeking out before this is all wrapped up with my backpack, black backpack, and just, okay, bye, walking in the ditch all of a sudden. Especially when we had started to clean up the empty cans and put them in my backpack, to hide the evidence that there was actually drinking and driving going on. We put 2 in my backpack, and he's like, get the others. There's more. And I'm trying to share with him, be a lookout. Like, can you, like, I don't want to get caught red-handed. Like, I don't want to be caught stuffing his empties in my backpack, and this just get worse and worse, and things start to really unravel. So I said, like, can you look out? But no, he wasn't able to do that. He's too panicked or scared or just too there, right? That he didn't. He wasn't my lookout, so it was really uncomfortable for me in that moment to be like, shit, I'm really taking some, pardon my language, lady, that, oh my, I am really taking some risks. And it's like, once you start doing the wrong thing, it happens like that so quickly, ladies, that you didn't speak up when you should have. Hey, I'm not getting in that vehicle anymore. And if I am, I'm driving all the time now for the rest of the day. I didn't do that, so now I'm a passenger. Okay, things just keep getting a little bit worse. a little bit worse, and till all of a sudden it's 9:30 at night, and we're stuffing empty alcohol cans in my backpack to hide the drinking and driving he's been doing. So I messaged him this morning, like, let's meet for coffee. I'm not working with you today. I need to think some stuff over. I'm not available today. Several hours go by, and I say, like, let's, 7 o'clock at night, can we meet for coffee today? So he kind of had a sense that, like, okay, like, you don't want to work for me anymore, and I'm breaking up with him, right? And I was like, no, I wrote him a letter and said, things are going to be, is it appropriate to read this? I think so. I won't use his name, of course. It's like Sunday, August 4th, 2024. Location written. I started writing at 12:50 p.m. Dear, I will be brief and direct, as I know you to be a thoughtful person and deep thinker. Yesterday was not your fault, but mine. I refer, of course, not to what happened, but our near miss. Taking that first sip rests with you, but being complacent to it and later serving you that last beverage in transit rests with me. We have certainly formed a good working relationship. Our processes are improving, and we are really starting to click. Then came yesterday. We can agree we both failed each other. My remedy is unwavering, but here it is. I will continue working with you for long, productive days on Saturday and Sunday, provided we both attend AA meetings together the Friday preceding. Naturally, take time to mull it over and consider it. I will leave this offer open until December 1st. Working with you for these past 3 months has been a rare treat. I learned much from how you communicate. You taught me many new skills, and never have I worked so long and so hard before. I loved it. I would very much appreciate, irrespective of the above option, a letter of reference and recommendation from yourself, which I will hold as a dear possession. Lastly, I'm not good with gifts, and a sincere idea or thoughtful piece of advice is often the rarest and most useful. So here it is. That company has the safety spot for you. Take it. Climb or subcontract on the weekends and realize you have truly made it. Everyone but you knows you're the best in the business. Take the stable job. Lead that company through a major safety culture change and live a very worry-free life, knowing you're banking $1,000 days whenever you want, while making a very noticeable difference in a company that can really use your experience and charisma. High regards, signature. And he received it so well. We talked more about it, and he agreed, he acknowledged. He said, nah, you don't have to come with me. Good point. He's like, yep, you're right. Yep. Yeah. And You start doing something you don't realize, and it's like, yeah, it was such a special moment, which is why I'm describing it, because these are moments that are important to share as a dad to daughters. But of course, talking to you for 20 minutes solid it's just not something people do anymore. We don't listen to each other in person for 20 solid minutes. We seem to have a longer attention span if the person's talking to us through our phone. And so be it. So I share that story with you, ladies. I told my pen pal I couldn't have scripted it better. The meeting, the time together went so beautifully. We bonded, we connected, we have a richer understanding of each other, how we process information, how careful, and we talked a bit about some of the finer points. He asked, it's like, so can you work Tuesday? Can you? And I said, I think I'm supposed to say no. I said, you're a very charismatic person. I chose my words carefully. I think the proper thing for me to say is, like the wording I used, unwavering. The negotiation or wiggle room might be, if we're doing maybe a little bit of mechanic work, because I told him I'm actually really interested in a career change. If I want my employer to listen to me, and my experience would be well served filling one of their much needed vacancies as a mechanic. So there's that, but not the tree work, not chainsaws, feet on the ground, not driving. And it was a beautiful moment. The whole thing lasted not even an hour, and it was just one of those amazing moments where the whole time I was worried, because I value this relationship so much. It's like when you find special people where you really connect with, fight for them, but the proper way, with patience and forethought, and just hope and pray and be in the moment. Listen better than you're used to. Listen. Be very careful. And appreciate that we can do a lot of damage to this relationship that we truly value, because something's happened where apparently the girlfriend is now, right, just done as well. So emotions are high, right? We're injured, we're in shock, and this is very much a critical moment. But I need to speak too. I need to be heard. I need to establish my priorities and my concerns. And that's the value and power of paying attention to people you care about, being able to identify the phenomenal people that you meet, and giving them that extra time, the extra moment. In the letter I read to you my draft. In his version, I wrote everything out, slight edits. When I signed it, I initialed at the bottom to acknowledge that it's now 7:20. I started writing that at 12:50. So going slow, and knowing you don't stop on the street, for instance. When I say people are important, that doesn't mean you stop and help everybody you meet. Just not entirely practical. And you got to know how to say no. You got to know how to excuse yourself and say, that's a no right now, right? That's, yep. Hey, can you spare any change? Keep walking, maybe. Be polite. It's like, I'm sorry. No. But when you meet people, enough people, you're able to identify the gems. And great people are not factory produced dolls. They're gonna have quirks. But what they all have in common is they are incredible listeners. The way they handle information, the way they will listen, the way they stay calm, the way they contribute to the conversation, the way they evolve the conversation. These are indications, and it's like, whoa, I'm either dealing with an extremely manipulative person that's going to ask me for something, a ride, money, right? So some of the indications on that is, what kind of personal questions did they ask you leading up and throughout this conversation? So where do you work? Huge red flags when they're asking those kind of personal questions. Where do you go to school? Oh yeah, so you live around here? This is not where we want to be. But when you're able to talk about stuff that matters but doesn't matter, that isn't giving away any personal information, and the person isn't in a rush, and it's like, wow, interesting times. You fight for those people, and by fighting, it's like you're fighting yourself to be more patient. You're suppressing that passion, the real fight, suppressing the passion, and just saying, stay calm. It's okay. They're not in a rush. You're not in a rush. Just listen. And it did not seem like an hour, because the moments were going by so slowly and carefully. And I get back in the car here, get back in Ruby, and it wasn't even 9 o'clock, and we agreed to meet at 8. Like, these are special moments, ladies. Learn from my mistakes. Learn from my lessons, and be like, whoa, it happens that. Just smooth and gentle. Hey, pass me a pop. Hey, you guys want one for a road? When do you speak up? How? You're in the middle of nowhere, and that person is your ride. That vehicle, you don't even necessarily know how to drive it by yourself. How do you get yourself out of this mess? I take some deep breaths. Maybe grab your cell phone, write out a paragraph or two. It's like, hey, when you got a minute, I need to talk to you about something, right? And it's like, you find a way to speak up for yourself. Learn from it. Hear my words. The power of writing, and not just speaking up right away, but just take a moment, go to the washroom, write out a sentence or a paragraph, figure things out first, and be like, this is important. This is important, so I'm going to put just a little bit more thought and planning into the words I'm going to share to the next person. Stay calm. Move. Go with it. I didn't do any of that. I've learned when I'm sharing my lesson with you. And now I have an even stronger connection with this person that before I was, they're just a supervisor. It's kind of more of a business relation. Now it's like, oh, wow. We have a richer understanding. I told them several times, he's feeling kind of, you know, kind of embarrassed and tough on himself. I'm like, He's like, well, thanks. And like most people, he says, would have written me off for this. And I was like, no, man. It's like, you're a keeper. He just kind of looks at me and he's like, well, thanks. Like, the best people are not perfect. You got to learn how to really read people, ladies. And a lot of perfect people or imperfect people are not ready also. You can't start making connections with everybody that needs a lot of help and work. It's very much an art to say, wait a minute, no, I will make you a priority. I'm going to go to this meeting with you and work with you, help you along, because maybe I'm not a perfect person either. And maybe this would help me too in my life. That's my story for you. Of course, it would be a challenge to just share this with you over one of our nightly phone calls. Let's put it in a video for you, recap some of our conversation. And sometimes I make these intentionally long, because who's going to listen to this for that long? So I do it for intent, as a way of keeping things a little bit more private for the people in concern, because no one's going to listen to a video this long. So there's some design to what I'm doing. I'm able to do that with thought. There be the story, ladies. Naturally, I have much more to share with you and update you on the garden and activities, and how another wonderful conversation went today with the owner of the cultivated garden space. We talked for 5 hours, from I guess it was about 1:30 till 6, so 4 hours and a quarter or so when we started meeting up and talking, and it was incredible. That's perhaps for another time. I do need to carry on. I'm going to start driving here, and I love you, ladies. I'm thinking of you. C'est tout pour maintenant. La prochaine fois. All for now.